If you want to know how you can recreate the GTA 5 camera manipulation system, where if you join the game, your camera comes from the sky all the way to the bottom to your character, you're going to have to watch this video all the way to the end to find out how to. Hey guys, and welcome back to this brand new video on my channel, and in this tutorial I'll be showing you how you can make the GTA 5 loading screen. And what I mean with it is on GTA 5, if you click like story mode or multiplayer, you're gonna load in. You're just simply gonna load in, and then after that your camera starts up in the sky, and then it like jumps down in 3 parts to your character, and then you can play. And that is what we're going to be recreating today, especially the camera system, because I think it was really cool, and one of my viewers suggested it, so thank you. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, so without further ado, let's begin. So it's pretty easy. Actually it's not, but yes it is. So first of all, go to workspace and create a folder. Yes, a folder. And name it spawn points, because in GTA 5, every time you load in, you should spawn randomly across the map. Sometimes you're like Michael, and the other time you're Trevor, or I don't know GTA 5 names, but you randomly spawn in the map, just somewhere. So first of all, make a part. Just make a part and anchor it. Make sure to click anchor. Put the parts in spawn points, like that. And then I'm just gonna, for cool parts, I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna put it over here, you know. You want to rename this to spawn 1. Now here's the confusing part. You want to duplicate this part and put it in the part. So now you should have 2 parts like this. Rename this one to camera 3. We're going to do the opposite way. So this is camera 3. As you can see, I'm just going to put it a little bit up in the sky. Now we're going to create camera 2. And you're going to move it up more. And finally, you got camera 1, which is all the way up in the sky. So let me demonstrate. The camera is going to tween like from this to this to this to this, and then you can play. So now you got 3 camera parts. And before you do anything, go to the first camera and rotate it, but make sure you rotate it to the right like this. So it's like going down from the right. Over here, going down, and on the last one, also going down. So now it should face down, and if it doesn't, you have to rotate it just the other way up. But in case that happens, I'll show you what you can do. So now you got that, and now you can duplicate this, and you can just go over here, spawn 2, and then you can do it again. You can do spawn 3, and now you can over here you can do spawn 4. So now you got 4 possible spawn locations. And for demonstration purposes, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create you don't have to do this, but I'm just gonna make color parts so you know it actually randomizes. So I'm gonna make this blue, and this one's just going to be white. Just you can see, if we spawn over here, that means we spawned on the red side. And this is just a quick like once it's done, I can show you how it works. So now you got this, pretty simple. But now here's another confusing part. Go to one of the parts, doesn't matter what. So I'm gonna do this one from spawn 1 to cam 3. Click copy. Go to replicated storage, and click paste into. I know you got a random part in replicated storage, but don't worry. Rename the part to cam part. CAMPART. Cam part, and just leave it like that. Don't do anything to it. So now we're going to be doing our first script. We're going to go to start your player. We're going to go to start your character scripts, and we're going to be inserting a normal script. Rename the script to add cam part. What we're doing at the end, it's going to tween to our character, but there's nothing to tween to in your character other than it's just going in your humanoid root part, and you will be seeing the internal organs of your character which do not exist. That is not cool. So that's why we will be creating a part which is a little bit above your head, which allows us to tween it to that. So first of all, repeat wait until script.parent.humanoid root part. Like that. So we're, first of all, the script will not run until there is a humanoid root part. Now we're going to be defining our camera part by saying local cam parts is equals to game get service replicated storage, and we're going to be doing .cam part, and we're going to immediately clone it by saying clone open bracket close bracket. Now we can do local weld, because we are going to have to weld it onto your character. So we're going to put a weld on the camera part and a weld on your humanoid root part, so it always stays on your character. So we can do local weld is equal to instance.new weld constraint into the camera part, because we're going to be attaching the camera part. So now we're going to be modifying our camera part. We're going to be doing camera part.cFrame. We're going to be setting the position is equals to script.parent.humanoid root part.cFrame. You might be wondering, hey, that's the end of the line. Let's click enter. No. We're going to be doing times, which is the star icon, shift 8. So press shift and 8. You're going to get those stars. Times cFrame.new. We're going to be doing 0, 15, 0. And what it does, we're going to be placing the block 15 studs above your character, which is exactly what we need. We need to have it above your head. So now we can do cam part.size is vector3.new. And we're going to be making it a normal block, which is 4 by 1 by 2. 4 in the length, 1 in the... I don't know, really. Yeah, it's 4 in the length, 2 up and 1 down. Or something. Now we're going to be making it invisible, because you don't want to see a part in your character. You don't want that. So we're going to be doing cam part.transparency is equal to 1. We're going to be unanchoring it, sorry. So cam part.anchored is equal to false. We're going to be unanchoring it. And lastly, or finalized, or whatever, we're going to be setting the parent, which is cam part.parent, and that is going to be script.parent.humanoid root part, because it has to be on your humanoid root part. So now we can do weld.part0 is equals to the humanoid. I'm just going to copy paste because that's easier. And weld.part1 is equals to the camera part. And that is it. Now you want to do cam parts dot can collide is equal to false, so you cannot collide with it. You could just walk like as if it's just invisible, it's not there. Lastly, we're going to be setting the orientation, which allows us to let it face down. So once we tween, the camera is facing down, which allows us to make it tweening to your character. So cam part.orientation is equal to vector3.new minus 90, which faces down, 0 and 0, because we're not going to be modifying anything else. Now for the final part, if cam part and weld. So if there is a cam part and there is a weld and there is a script.parent.humanoid root part, we will simply be destroying the script because we do not need it anymore. So now if you want to test this out, sure. By the way, you can just open all of these up. I set the transparency to 1, or you can make them all invisible, doesn't really matter. Make sure everything is anchored. Click play, and I can show you the part we just made. So now if you go to our character, as you can see, it's already pretty weird. If you click over here, humanoid root part, as you can see, there is a cam part, which faces down onto our character, as you can see. And that is the camera part. It follows you. Yep, very cool. Now make a remote event in replicated storage, which is the sender. Why is it raining? Rain, go away. Yep. Now we're gonna be making a script in the client. Let's start with the hard script first. Client. And we're gonna be making a little frame. So we're gonna be making a screen GUI. We're renaming it to we're renaming it to screen. To then add in a frame. Make it set the position to 0.5, 0, 0.5, 0. Just make sure it's in the middle. 1, 0, 1, 0. And set the anchor point to 0.5, 0.5. And this is pretty hard for my eyes. So we're gonna be setting the background color to 88 by 88 by 88, which is gray. Now set it to border color 32, and set the border size pixels to 100. Go click on the screen and tick this on. Ignore GUI inset. Just click it. So before we continue, go to game settings. Go to avatar. You're gonna see yourself, I think. No, you're not. Oh. And set the animation to standard, and click save. Now create a text button. Set the anchor point to 0.5, 0.5. Position 0.5, 0, 0.5, 0. I'm gonna set the size to 700 by 400. Background transparency 1. Text play. And I'm gonna set this to luckiest guy. And I'm gonna click text scaled. I think I can make this way smaller. Yeah, I can. Yep. So now it's just a block. And name this to button. And now here's the tricky part. Insert a text label and do the exact same as you did with the button. So we're going to do label. Name it label. And we're going to be doing the exact same. I'm going to speedrun it. Just copy every properties from the button. Background transparency 1, position 0, there we go, size 0,400, 0,200, as you can see that is correct. Luckiest guy, text scaled, and play. As you can see, it's the exact same now. Make the label visibility disabled, so just tick it away. This is your play frame. You can customize it however you want, as long as you have the button, the label, the frame, the screen, and the client script. Now you can go to the frame and click visible off. And now we're going to be doing some hard coding. In total, this video is like around 100 lines. I'll just guide you through everything. So first of all, let's get our services done. So which is local players, 60 game, get service, players. We're gonna also be immediately going to the replicated storage, which is local replicated storage is equals to not enum game get service replicated storage. Now we do not need any more services. We need the tween service, which is not a thingy you can see over here. So we're gonna be doing local tween service. 60 game get service tween service. Because we're going to be tweening a lot of stuff. Now we need to define our spawn points, which are local spawn point with an S, spawn points. Reminds me of Minecraft, anyways. Local spawn points is equal to workspace dot spawn points, which is workspace dot spawn points. Now we need to define the sender. Local sender is equal to replicated storage dot sender. Now we need the local player, which is local player is equal to players.local player. Now we need to define the camera, which is going to be local camera is equal to workspace.current camera. And you got most of your variables done. Now we need one more, which is local defined part, and leave it empty. We're going to be giving it a value later on in this tutorial. Now you can do repeat wait. We're going to be doing some repeating, or else the script will break. So we're going to be repeat wait until there is a player.player GUI, a player.character, a player.character.humanoid root part, and camera. So this is a lot of talking. I'm going to zoom out. So repeat wait until there's a player, until there is a player.player GUI, a player.character, a player.character.humanoid root part, and a camera. Now we're going to be making our function. Function cutscene part 1, comma, part 2, comma, cutscene time. And all of these variables are going to give a value. I'll explain later on. Camera, that camera type. And we're going to be making it scriptable so we can script it. So item, that camera type, that's scriptable. We're going to be immediately setting our C frame by camera frame. It's going to be the C frame on the part 1.c frame. Now we're going to be doing a tricky stuff with the tween information, which is going to be local tween information is equals to tween info dot new, and why not, I'm just going to do enter. It's going to be cutscene time, comma, and can I just get that out? Okay, I can't get it away. Enum, that easing style, that back, so it like goes back and then full acceleration to the front. We're going to be doing enum, that easing direction, that out, so it's pretty slow. 0, false, and 0. So now you should have cutscene time, easing style back, easing direction out, 0, false, and 0. And this is your tween information done. Now we can create the tween, local tween is equals to tween service create. We're going to be tweening the camera. We're going to be using our tween information, and our table is going to be C frame is equals to part 2.c frame, because we're going to be tweening it to the second part. And before you do anything, make sure you did tween play. Make sure to play the tween. Now you have to do the tricky stuff, like the real tricky stuff. Sender dot on client event connect function argument and the parts. And what we're going to be doing, once the player joins, we're going to be sending to the client one of these parts the player spawns on. You can do as many parts as you like, as long as it's like spawn 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, as long as it's spawn number. So spawn 5 or spawn 50 million, as long as it's a number. So we're going to be doing, so if not argument, so if there's no argument, then print no argument on clients. So we know if there's no argument, or somehow it got fired but there's nothing to do, we're going to be saying no argument on the client. And let's do a warn. If there's no part, we're going to be doing the same. If not part, then warn no parts on clients. So we know that there's no part, and this is the client, so we know it's on the client script. And now the two arguments we're going to be using. If argument is equals to start, then, so we're going to be starting our, we're going to be initializing our functions. We're going to be doing player GUI screen frame visible is equals to true. We're going to be enabling our loading screen. Our defined parts is going to be part. And now you need to get this line of code, paste it here, and instead of this, put defined part.cam1.c frame. Because once you join, we're going to be setting your camera to the top camera, which is this one or this one, just one of these. You get the point. We can continue. So now we can do else if. So if the argument is not start, else if argument is equals to camera. Now we will be initializing our camera. We're going to be doing task.wait 0.05. We're going to be waiting 5 milliseconds. Is that 5 milliseconds? I don't know. Now we're going to be doing repeat until. We're going to be doing a repeat wait until loop. So repeat task.wait 0.01. And we're going to be making it so your loading screen fades away. In order to do that, we can do player GUI .screen .frame .background transparency plus equals 0.01. We're going to be making the background transparency. We're going to be increasing it with a 0.01. I'm tired. We're going to be doing that on the. So just paste it again. Remove this and put frame.label.text transparency plus equals 0.01. So that is it for the background thingies. And now do until player dot player GUI dot screen dot frame dot background transparency, and then is greater or equals than 1. So if it is the same or above as 1, we're going to be stopping it. So it doesn't, if the value is 1, it's already gone. And now, and player GUI dot screen dot frame dot label dot text transparency greater than 1. So you should have this here. Player GUI dot screen dot frame dot background transparency is greater or equals than 1. And you got the same micmac on the text transparency over there. So now copy this line and type if copy pasted then. So if it's away, we're going to be doing the actual camera tweening. Task.wait 0.5. We're going to be waiting a little bit, and we're going to immediately initializing our functions. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing, just give me a second. We're going to be doing cutscene, and we're going to be using defined part.cam1. We're going to be starting from cam1. We're going to be tweening to cam2. So you got defined part.cam1 and defined part.cam2. And we're going to be doing that in 1 second. If you do 10 seconds, it's going to fade really slowly to the second argument. And we're going to be waiting task.wait 1. We're going to be waiting a second. Because there's a little bit of waiting. And change to cam. We're going to be tweening from cam2 to cam3. We're going to be waiting another second. And now we're going to be tweening from the camera 3 to your cam part. And to do that, player.character.humanoid root part.cam part, 1. In 1 second of time, we're going to be tweening from camera 3 to your humanoid root part.cam part. And we're going to be waiting 2 seconds now with task.wait 2. Enter. And we're going to be sending a remote event. Sender, fire server, loaded. That means you're loaded into the game. And we're going to be doing some very quick camera manipulation. We're going to be doing camera type is because the camera type that attach. And why attach? Attach allows us to lock the camera and then immediately setting it back to custom, because I had some issues where the orientation would mess up my camera manipulation mechanic. That was a lot of strong English sophisticated words. We're going to be doing a little bit, for a small amount of time. We're going to be doing task.wait 0.05, and then we're going to be resetting your camera. Camera.camera type is equals to enum.camera type.custom, which is the normal camera type. Now we're going to be doing camera subject. We're just going to be setting your camera subject to your humanoid is equals to player.character.humanoid. Now after that, we don't need this entire script anymore. We can just do script : destroy. We're just going to destroy this entire script because we do not need it anymore. Go to the GUI and disable reset on spawn. Now we need 5 more lines. Player.player GUI .screen .frame .button .mouse button 1 click. So if you click the play button, let me just click. Yep. Once you press the button, we're going to be sending a remote event to the server, and we're going to be disabling the button. So sender fire server TP player and the defined parts. And now we're going to be doing player GUI .screen player.player GUI .screen that frame, that label, that visible is equals to true. So we're going to be enabling our label, which is not clickable, and we're going to be disabling or making it invisible our button, like that. Now this is the entire script done for the client. You just need one more script. Go to server script service and make a server script. Now we can do local players. Oh, whoa, since when can you do that? Local players is equals to game, calling get service players. We're going to be doing local replicated storage is equals to game, colon get service replicated storage. You know the drill. Now we need to define our spawn points and the sender. So we can do local spawn points, just like the local script. Local spawn points is equals to workspace dot spawn points. Now we need to define the sender. Local sender is equals to replicated storage dot sender. So those are your 4 variables you need. Now we're going to be implementing our player added and character added functions by saying players player added colon connect function player dot character added colon connect function character. So we got a player variable and a character variable. Now we're going to be randomizing the spawn, which you're going to spawn at. Local random spawn. It's the math.random. We're going to be randomizing one spawn point out of the table of spawn points out of all of those. So it doesn't matter how much you have, it's going to randomize one number from that. Just one. Just one. Local defined spawn point is equals to workspace.spawn points, and we're going to be finding the spawn with the number it has been randomized to, which is spawn dot dot random spawn. Like this. You're doing a great job. Like that. Repeat wait until there is a player and there is a character. So not that it's going to like glitch out. My finger hurts. We're going to be sending our start function by saying sender, fire client. We're going to be firing it to the player. Our argument is start. And we're going to be sending the defined spawn point with it. So the client also knows where we are going to spawn at. And now we will just block you from moving, which is character.humanoid.walk speed is equals to 0. And character.humanoid.jump power 0. This allows us to immediately block the player, which will not allow them to move. So now gotta start your player and enable character use jump power. Now we need a few more lines. They're pretty easy. Sender.onServer event connect function, the player argument, the argument, and the part argument. So now, if not player, then print no player on server. Oh, and of course. So if not argument, then actually instead of print, we're gonna do warn no argument on server. And lastly, you can guess, if not parts, then warn no parts on server. So what it does, if there's no part argument or something, the script will not break. It will just throw away warning. So now if player and argument is equals to TP player, then sender fire client player and camera. We're going to be sending it to the player with camera, and the camera variable is this function over here, which allows us to tween the camera. Now, we're gonna be teleporting the player to their spawn point. You won't be seeing this because of the GUI. So player dot character that humanoid root part dot C-frame is going to be at the parts dot C-frame. And again, we're going to be blocking your player from moving just in case something breaks. And it has to be player dot. And now lastly, else if player and argument is equals to loaded, then your player can move again. Make sure to type that correctly. Your player can move again, and the normal values for walk speed is 16 and for jump power is 50. And we're going to be destroying your camera part because it's not necessary anymore. Player dot character dot humanoid root part dot cam part colon destroy. We won't be needing it anymore. You're done with all of the coding. It is a lot of coding. I know it is a ton of coding, but you made it. So now if we click play. Okay, so now we're here, and if we click play, it's gonna fade away. As you can see, it fades away, and our camera tweens from the sky all the way to the bottom of our camera. As you can see, we can move now, and as you can see, well, you can ignore those errors. Those are just because we're not sending the part every time. But if you go to your character, as you can see, it is normal now. So if you click play again, play, as you can see, it go. Now we're at the red part, so it goes down and down and down, and now we can walk again. So let me just disable Can Collide on all of these parts, because apparently some of them have Can Collide on. Can Collide false, and let's retry it. So I wonder at what point we're going to spawn now, and now we are spawned at the red side again. But as you can see, it goes down and down and down, and now we can move again. So let's try to see if we can get on the blue, green, or white side. And now we're again on the red side. Let's just see where we land. Hopefully it's another side now. It's because now we're on the green side. It goes down and down and down, and now you can play. So one last time, if I would try to move whilst my camera's tweening, it's not going to work. To play, as you can see, I'm trying to move. I can't. And now I can move. So this is the tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed it. It took me a lot of time. And I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, give it a thumbs down. But I hope you give a thumbs up. If you enjoyed the video, give a like. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on post notifications. And all I can say is that my name is Newbie. And I say peace out.